Falcons fans, welcome to another great edition of FalconZone. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York, here to talk all things Atlanta Falcons. If you want to follow all of our shows that we do a lot of different shows, folks. So if Falcons is not your thing and you somehow tuned into this one, there's many more that you can find on our YouTube channel or any of our social medias. But our YouTube channel, Impact underscore media underscore, and you'll find all the amazing things we do. So, Falcons fans, I don't know if I'll consciously or subconsciously do this, but yep, that background behind me is still Atlanta United, and just happened to be the shirt I was wearing. So, if you get above 500, if the Falcons get above 500, I'll change the background and I'll wear something Falcons related. Sound good? Sound good? Okay. That's what we're gonna do. It sounds fun. I just come up with it just a few minutes ago. Didn't even realize I'd been subconsciously doing it. But let's not say what do Falcons do, because let's get this out of the way. They don't rise up as a phoenix that a lot of other birds. Falcons are birds of prey. I've been over this before on other episodes of this across the years. Falcons are birds of prey. They sit up top and they swoop down for the kill. That is what this Falcons team needs to do. That is what this Falcons team did against the Washington Commanders. You win that one 34 to 27. How'd you win that one, by the way? How'd you win that one? No Jaden Daniels, no Scary Terry, right? Yeah, no Scary Terry. You welcome back two former Falcons personalities. And I say personalities because one was former head coach Dan Quinn, and I don't blame Dan Quinn for a lot of what happened here in Atlanta when he was here. I think there was a lot of things around him, and I think they didn't give him the team. I'm gonna say that in general, without going back and looking at rosters and things like that. But he played in this stadium, or he coached in this stadium. I don't think it was all his fault. I will, I'll put it that way. And also, since there's no Jaden Daniels, guess who his backup is, folks? I told Falcons fans this all week. Some believed me, some didn't, until he tried it out there. Oh, Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota, who can still play, by the way. Marcus Mariota, number 8. He tried it out there. So you welcome at least there might have been some more, two former Falcons personalities. And you sent them home with a loss. And now Washington is 2-2. You did the East a favor in trouncing Washington. Washington is supposed to be the one to challenge Philly this year. Well, without Scary Terry and without Terry McLaurin, by the way, people don't know his nickname from Ohio State. Without Terry McLaurin and without Jaden Daniels, Washington's still pretty good. They're still pretty good because they scored 27 points on a Falcons defense that's actually one of the top 5 in the league in overall. They don't give up yards. I can't remember the exact whatever it was, but there's something in my other. But they do have Debo Samuel, and they have Luke McCaffrey. Yep, he's related to the other McCaffrey, Christian. Zach Ertz and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. These guys, Jeremy McNichols, these guys can catch the football. Chris Rodriguez Jr. is a really good runner. Debo Samuel can run the ball. Not sure why he didn't run the ball as much for them. But this was a good Commanders team. A Commanders team that should be at least 3-1. I would argue the Falcons should be at least 3-1. Not the Panthers. You weren't going to beat the Panthers. You need to show up for that game. And anybody who says anything to the contrary tells me that you either didn't watch or you're delusional. So whichever of the two you are, congratulations on that. You absolutely did not show up for the Panthers game, but you had a chance to beat Tampa a couple times, and you lost by a field goal. So you should be 3-1 because you won this game, you won that game. I said the other one, those two, you see, yeah, you won like 22-6 in the other game. Who did they beat? 22-6. Yeah, Falcons over the Vikings. Yep, absolutely deserved to win that one. You should have won week one. Panthers, hey, dust that one off. I almost would be embarrassed to tell people I showed up and cried in that game because Panthers aren't that good. How are the Panthers now? Panthers are 1-2. They've actually already had a bye week. So their one win is when they completely blew you out. They lost by 20 to the Browns, and they lost by 9 to the Steelers. The Steelers can't score points. So losing 19-10 to the Steelers is like losing 30-10 to the Browns. That's preseason. I knew that didn't sound right. Regular season. There we go. They lost 26-10 to the Jaguars. Jaguars are a better team than they were. They're okay. You lost 27-22 to the Cardinals. That's not bad. It's not bad. Cardinals are probably a step above the Jaguars. You completely crushed the Falcons. And how are they 1-2? I'm seeing that they are 1-3. Get your act together there, out. The Patriots, who are an okay team, blew them out 42-13. And that's following that 30-point thing that they did. Yeah. The Panthers aren't good, folks. Go Falcons. We're to a bye week. I don't like that it's this early in the season, but maybe it's a good thing because you got your new kicker. You told Koo to thanks for the memories, and you brought in Romo. Not that Romo, the other Romo, and he seems to be an okay kicker. He's doing a little better than Koo was doing. I'll at least give him that. He went 2 for 2 this week. His longest was a 38-yarder. While I appreciate that they only gave him no more than a 38-yarder, at some point we need to see at least a 45 on his resume. And I know he's kicked some before, won that other game for him basically. But because here's the thing, we'll get into this in a minute. I want to talk more Commanders Falcons. You got 2 sacks. Okay. Probably 2 more than you would have got last year. One was a half a sack to Caden Ellis, and the other was a half a sack to all right. Make sure I get them right. Forgot who it was now. Leonard Floyd. They shared one. Caden Ellis and Leonard Floyd came together on one. And Zach Harrison. There we go. Zach Harrison had the other one. And so 2 sacks. Okay. Tons of tackles. All right. You can be a tackle monster though and give up a lot of yards, a lot of points. Where are the team stats? There we go. That's what we wanted. Washington, who once again is a really good team, missing their 2 biggest offensive weapons, by the way, ran 51 total plays for 294 yards, which is about 5.8 yards per play. Okay. 147 in the air. What does that mean? Did they really 147, 147? Wow. They got the same amount of rushing as they did passing. Was Marcus Mariota. So 147 is like, if he throws for 147, that's like 320 for somebody else. So here's the thing, though. You got out rushed because you only rushed for 128. I get you threw the ball a lot because of all the scoring. But 307 in the air. Michael Penix was really showing out. He was really showing some things that he can do. I'm still not sure which Michael Penix we're going to get. I have seen this, which seems like the highest of the high. I have seen that Panthers game, which was last week, which one? Is he somewhere in between? Is he? I would like to think he's more this game versus the Commanders than he is uh, that game against the Panthers. But I don't know. Because if it really does come down to the coaches preparing him enough to play, then we really don't know what version we're going to get. It just depends on if the coach has had an off week. You know, I hope not. I hope it gets to a point where he's able to rise above it, persevere. Let's say persevere. Let's not even use the word rise anymore. To persevere and to push through it. If you get into some adversity, I mean, I thought he did pretty well. What was his actual stats? 20 for 26 for 313, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was only sacked once. I'll take that. You have a top 5 offensive line, even with the injuries and stuff. I still put them up there. They're pretty good. Maybe they're top 8 in most people's book. I put them higher than that. You had Bijan, who had 75 yards rushing and a touchdown. He also had 4 catches for 106. Drake London, 8 catches for 110 and a touchdown. Big Drake London. Look at Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, 5 catches, 70 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was like 4 games for him last year. Amazing when you get him the ball and amazing when he doesn't drop it. I got to give, both sides of that. I still don't know his future with the team. I don't think he does either. And I don't think he cares because he's just going to ball out. I tell everybody, because normally I would bring up something like this and I would say, well, this year is like a 32-team audition. Because either the Falcons are going to keep him or he's going to end up on one of the other 31 if he plays well enough. I'll go one better. Every game is a 32-team audition for a lot of these players. For your Casey Washingtons, your Ray Ravenclaw's probably on the team. Casey Washington's, your the honestly maybe the Caden Ellison. Pretty sure he's cementing himself onto the team, but I mean if it starts to go south and suddenly you don't get any sacks the rest of the year, they're not going to get rid of him, but role's going to diminish. I mean, Tyler Algier, I think he's pretty cemented as the backup, but if he stops producing, then what? But I want to stay on the positive because they won. They're now 2-2. What does the standings look like? They are where are they? All right. So what did I tell you guys at the beginning of the year? Told you guys Tampa Bay is the cream of the crop in this division. It's basically theirs to lose. But the one that's going to challenge them the most is Atlanta. And they could actually beat them. And I think they might. There was a stronger chance earlier than right now, but they're only a game back. Then I said Carolina is that sneaky third team that you better watch, or they can get you some weeks. 30-0, they got you. And then I told you guys that the Saints are a mess, and they might be a mess for a couple years. They've got to fix a lot of stuff. They had a starting quarterback retire right before the season. And I think Spencer Rattler and some others could fill in and be that starter of the future going forward. But they didn't get the first team rep since the spring like most people did. When Derek Carr stepped away like he did, it left a massive void and changed their entire trajectory and plan. If Derek Carr would have played this year, even if he would have gotten injured, even if he would have started a handful of games for him, they probably borderline contend. Now, they've almost accepted the fact. I mean, they're 0-4 right now. They've almost accepted the fact we're going to get a good draft pick. We're going to have some really good drafts. We might move off some contracts that we needed to a long time ago. It might be time to actually fix the book and fix them right, fix them in a good way, not like fix them like, well, we're going to finagle them and just make this work. No. Mickey Loomis is smarter than that. He doesn't fix the books like that. No, to actually fix the financials and push this team in a better direction moving forward. Maybe next year, maybe the year after that. That's where the Saints are. So when you go to standings, as I said, Tampa Bay 3-1. Technically, that should be 2-2. Remember I said that. Because if they're 2-2, that means Atlanta's 3-1 instead of being 2-2. So you flip those two. Carolina at 1-3. Congratulations, Atlanta. You've gifted them their one win, and honestly, between them and the Saints, might be fighting over the number one pick. So you might have helped the Saints in hurting the Panthers in that, but you're still sitting in a good spot. You're 500. You're doing some really good things. I mean, I like where Atlanta's at. They could be better. They could be worse. Like I said, the way I have it, if it would have fell the way it should have fell, you should be leading by one instead of down by one. But it also could have went south enough to where you're Carolina or New Orleans, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. Is anybody else 0-4? I know this Las Vegas is 1-3. So is Baltimore, oddly enough, and Cleveland. The Jets. Okay. So we've got the Jets and New Orleans at 0-4. There's two teams there. And then we have the Giants, the Raiders, Houston, Baltimore, Cleveland, Miami, who are all at 1-3, and those illustrious Cowboys at 1-2-1. But Cowboy fans, I hear you. You did tie Green Bay, and I would put Green Bay as one of the top three teams in the NFC. So congratulations, Cowboy fans. Since you tied the Green Bay Packers on national television, I guess that means you will be in this year's Super Bowl, right? You qualify for the Super Bowl because you tied a really good team in the league. Yeah, not how it works. Not how it works at all. But I want to get, like I said, you welcome Dan Quinn back. Send him packing with a loss. You welcome back Marcus Mariota. Thanks for the memories. See ya. Great. Absolutely great. Then you get the weird bye week. As we say on the Georgia Tech and the Georgia shows, hunker down and up with the white and gold. You can't necessarily win the bye week. Boy, you can lose it. We need everybody to stay healthy. Everybody to stay out of the back of cars with lights on top. If you are injured, come in and get treatment. Take some time off, rest. Get ready, because you don't get just any old game when you come back. Since you don't play this weekend, next weekend, you actually don't have a game next weekend either, because it's going to be Monday night. So a week from this Monday, you're going to get almost a week and a half off. But when you come back, you get the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. Is that in Buffalo? That game is not. It is in this stadium behind me. Then I'm going to say it again next week. But this is what you do, Falcons fans. You pack this place out. You make sure there is barely any specks of blue anywhere on there. You leave the Bills Mafia out in the parking lot where they can destroy their own tables and things, and don't destroy the lampposts, because those cost money and you will get arrested. Or the nearby parks. They're great and kids love them. But you get the Bills, who are 4-0 right now. Who are the Bills face this week? Are they going to be 5-0? The Bills face the Patriots. Yeah, pretty good chance that the 5-0 Bills are going to be visiting next week. I'm not scared by that. Can you beat the Bills? I think you can. You have the defensive backs to tie up their receivers. You have the Caden Ellises and the Leonard Floyds and the others who can get at Josh. Is it Josh? Yeah. Yeah, Josh Allen. You have the pass rush and you have the linebackers. You have personnel to at least slow down their offense. And as of this week, if this Michael Penix shows up, if this Tyler Algier shows up, if this Bijan Robinson shows up, London, if Kyle Pitts, if those guys all show out next week, next Monday, you might stun them. You might give them their first loss. We'll talk more about it next week, but there's something to think about, folks. This Falcons team, that's what they need. They need you to pack this place out, and in no way do they pay me to say that. I wish they did. They do not. They need you to pack this place out. They need you to tune in when it's on TV. They need you to constantly tell Buffalo fans that your team is not going to beat my team. Don't believe me? Watch Jeremy on FalconZone. He's going to describe it next week as to how the Falcons are going to pull this off. It's not that far-fetched. People are going to look and go, we've got a 2-2 team coming off a bye and a 5-0 team that has ran through everybody. Let me tell you who they ran through. They ran through the Patriots this week, who were 2-2. They ran through the Saints. I just told you the Saints are 0-4. They ran through the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 1-3. They ran through the Jets, 0-4. They stunned the Ravens on opening week, 41-40 with a last-minute field goal. But we don't know if this Raven team's any good. They had a really good week 1, but they're also 1-3. And now Lamar's going to be out for a couple weeks. So we don't know how good this Ravens team is. What if they're not? What if they're a 500 or less team this year? And that means the Bills hadn't played anybody. The Ravens gave them the best game. The Dolphins kind of did. Quite honestly, the Saints gave it a shot. They only lost by 12. But, I mean, we don't even know how good this Bills team is. How good can they be? They've beat two teams that are going to battle right now in a battle for the number 1 overall pick. They beat another team that is only one game better than that. Yeah, the Dolphins have won one more game than the Jets and Saints have combined. Figure that one out. Just their one win is one more than the entire total of both those teams. And like I said, and the Ravens are 1-3. The Ravens have lost. Now, they lost to the Bills. The Bills might be pretty good. They lost to the Chiefs already. And they lost to the Lions. And the only game they won was the Browns. But the Browns scored 30 points on somebody. I don't know. The Ravens have faced really tough competition. Maybe they're a good team and just hadn't pulled it out. They're losing close ones. We'll see. They've got Texas, Rams, Bears, Dolphins. Ravens will be fine. Ravens are going to be 500 in 3 weeks. That's what's going to happen there. But, I'll end it with this. This Falcons team needs your support. Like I said, they need you to pack this place out. I don't care if you buy anything or not. Buy you a hot dog. These $3 hot dogs and like $4 hamburgers. And I'll be honest, one of my favorite things in the entire stadium. I don't know where all you can get it. Normally because I sit up top for United games that's why I know where it is up top. But they have like a barbecue nachos plate that is spectacular. That's what I like in the stadium. It's affordable. I don't remember how much it is now. But eat you some good food, catch some really good games. Then Bills home unhappy. Bills fans home unhappy, where they go home and break their patio door because they jump off the roof and kick it in. Not something. Yeah, look, pro wrestling fan short for fanatic, and I still don't get some of the stuff that they do. But fan short for fanatic, let them do what they want to do. Send them home unhappy. This team is showing what they can do. Can they do it consistently now? That's, to me, the first step is believing in yourself. The second step is actually making that belief into something tangible that you can actually see or witness, which is what they did this week. They showed part of their capabilities. Now you have to do it consistently to make it a pattern. And so, do we see it next week against the Bills? I hope so. I hope so. I think it's going to be a just a fantastic game. We'll talk more about it next week. But for now, this has been another great edition of FalconZone. Lining up some fun people to have on here soon. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And until then, I'm Jeremy the Impact York from Impact Media. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the bye week. Deuces, gooses. Go Falcons.